Hey guys, how's it going? I am the Duke of Italy, your favorite lo-fi odd hair day music YouTuber. And you're probably wondering that the title and this angle of video don't necessarily match up. Normally I record these types of videos with my camcorder, but I decided to take a little more of a wide X him approach where you could get my face and the music at the same time. And it's been a long time since I have caught you guys up with the CDs I've had for a while now, and there are some I've had since the beginning of my collection that I haven't pointed out because I was lending them to a friend or something like that. And so I'm going to I basically looked at my CDs and I looked at my videos and I got them all together. I basically haven't covered like a little more than a third of the CDs that I own, and I've got some long CD videos. So I'm gonna break this up into 4 parts here, and it's gonna be like at least 10 CDs per part. So I've had shorter and I've had much longer than that. This first part here is probably gonna be like the least interesting of the 4, but it's stuff that I still should cover. At least in terms of like, there are a couple things here that I need to just get out of the way. But I'm not gonna take too much longer doing this intro, so let's just start talking about them. One final thing before I get into these CDs. Some of these CDs I have covered not on my music collection videos, but on actual reviews of said album. And I'm covering it here just for completion's sake. So don't be too mad. Up first, very obvious pick for anyone's collection, Magical Mystery Tour by the Beatles. I'm still looking for a copy of Abbey Road that isn't $24. In person, you're not going to find much of those, but like online, I'm sure there's thousands and thousands of busted copies that I could buy a copy of. But I don't know. Like, I'm sure Abbey Road's been done enough times where someone could actually tell me what's the best remaster or best original master of the audio. It's a tough thing. I know classical pieces, people will review different vinyl pressings because those are literally performed by different artists, but like the Beatles are the Beatles. They're covered enough times to have that. But yeah, I love this album. Really good psych stuff. Some of my favorite Beatles songs are on here. Blue Jay Way is very underrated. Anytime I talk to someone about the Beatles and they're like, yeah, like they're hated for no reason by some people, but they're not great. I'm like, if you listen to Blue Jay Way, you would just understand that they're really not worth hating at all because they've got a lot of really crazy, influential, great stuff that I'm sure you guys already know about. But yeah, I mean, things are great here. Apparently Mick Jagger shows up on, I think, Baby You're a Rich Man. That's pretty cool. I didn't know about that first time I heard about this. It's crazy. This is technically a soundtrack, but like, who actually cares about its status as a soundtrack? But like, I've reviewed that. It's great. Well, after that, we have this one I just want to get out of the way. This is a Pale Saints in the Comforts of Madness. And the reason I just want to get this one out of the way, this copy is like totally scratched up. I got this from a record store in California, and I like this album. It's good music. Look at the little cat there, ain't he cute? But it doesn't play well at all. It skips and skips and skips, and then it just ejects itself. I don't know if I ever showed it, but I did have a copy of Huey Lewis's 4. An antique store for some reason had this, and that's actually where I got my In the Court of the Crimson King vinyl, and that skipped awfully as well, which was a huge shame. But it doesn't matter because we're covering stuff that I do have. And this next one is Ozzy Osbourne's Patient Number 9. Really, really good friend of mine gave me this, honestly, when I was just having a bad time. And she gave me some Reese's Peanut Butter Cups too. So I don't know if she's watching this, but love you for that. That was pretty awesome. But Patient Number 9 by Ozzy Osbourne. Quick run. I mean, first of all, the features on this thing are crazy. You got Jeff Beck, Zakk Wylde on several songs, and Tony Iommi on several songs, and Eric Clapton at least once, which is pretty cool. There's a song called God Only Knows. I don't know why that's there, but Ozzy doesn't sound too terrible in terms of his vocals. I mean, but like, it does sound like a very overproduced album. So I'm kind of wondering, like, does Ozzy have one more in him where they just let his vocals go straight up, no delay, no layering, just like one crooning last effort? Because I mean, he's got to be almost done. I thought his last album was gonna be his last one because I only heard a little bit of it and I didn't like it, and I wasn't so sure about this one. But it's a pretty rocking album. I'm not gonna say it's amazing, but I'm glad to own an I'm glad to own an Ozzy Osbourne album, and it's a nice little cover too. It's pretty eye catching. I genuinely cannot believe that I haven't covered this one yet. Apparently I haven't. This is yeah, who cares about this one? But it is the Okay Not Okay repress. So it's got a second disc of bonus tracks, including Lift and Man of War, Lull, blah blah blah. This is the second highest rated album on Rate Your Music. And just today I was at like an art exhibit and a guy was covering No Surprises and Karma Police, and he was just playing acoustic guitar, and it was someone's like retirement party. So I thought that was kind of funny, and it was a fun little conversation starter there. This one, amazing find for the price. I bought this for $5, and I haven't removed the sticker. But this is Monarch's Dead Men Tell No Tales. Really interesting little cover here. And you probably are thinking like, what is this twee folk thing going on here? Nuh-uh. This is, first of all, if this shows, I don't know if it will very well, but 2 discs. So you're already getting real bang for your buck for $5. But this is, it says Doom. So I looked them up and I purchased it. This is a compilation where it's 2 40-ish minute albums by the same band, meaning Monarch, which I will be reviewing some stuff from kind of soon because they're drone metal. And they're drone metal. If you want vocals that sound like lingua ignota screaming and heavy drone metal and really incomprehensible rhythmic tendencies, because they will have these giant gaps of no feedback, honestly. It would be a lot of like quiet in between the stuff. Sometimes there is feedback, sometimes there's not. They have really good control over their instruments, probably some pedals in there too. But they will like play a note and hit with the drums at the same time. And they pace it super well. Really chilling stuff, really gripping stuff, really good driving music. It's just great overall. I mean, it's technically not an album, it's a compilation, but I think in terms of bang for your buck, it's worth your time. And I believe both discs on here are re-recorded versions of the songs and that are extended as well. And there also is a spoken word track on one of these. I don't really remember which one, but it's good drone metal. Monarch's Dead Men Tell No Tales. And speaking of Ozzy Osbourne, I was mentioning him earlier. You gotta have Black Sabbath self-titled. I could talk about it forever. I feel like I really don't need to, but Black Sabbath by Black Sabbath, you could easily claim to be one of the best songs of all time. First of all, inventing doom metal is huge, especially when doom metal didn't exist. And then the fact that the rest of the album was also like groundbreakingly heavy as well is kind of insane to me, because that guitar, Tony Iommi's guitar sound is just roaring. I don't have to tell you how he got his finger crushed, and then he had to do drop D because of like the little prosthetic, and then that invented drop D in metal, which invented metal, and then he had the guitar tone. And then I could tell you Geezer Butler was a guitarist, and he went to bass, and he played it way up high. And Bill Ward is a jazz drummer, and you can tell his chops are insane on this thing. And Ozzy, on this record, here's the thing, and it works in its favor. You can tell he's not the best vocalist yet, and he gets better in his career. He gets more into like his own footing. But like his voice, he sounds actually like so tired on this record, and it's such a unique moment, because like that would normally be a really terrible end product, but it works only here. And that is not Ozzy Osbourne on the cover. That is some woman. I don't know who, but this album cover, come on. Like, this is one of the best album covers ever. And following that, one of the not best album covers ever, Black Sabbath's Paranoid. For those of you that don't know, this is a war pig to Black Sabbath. Like it's a policeman with a scimitar and a heater shield, a really cringe fantasy version. And I don't know if that's a member of Black Sabbath or not. Maybe there's a credit somewhere, but and on the back you've got more war pig nonsense. I've actually never looked at the back, funnily enough. Like this is kind of a beat up CD, because Bridget doesn't stop kicking stuff whenever I am driving Bridget around for our shenanigans. Honestly, what is there to say about this that hasn't been said before? You know, like just opening track, War Pigs. Okay, amazing. And then you got Paranoid, Planet Caravan with that crazy psych route. Iron Man, you get literal chills. That opening drum flam is insane. Electric Funeral is so fire. Hand of Doom, basically another doom metal song that sounds great. It's been covered by ISIS as well as a ton of other bands. Rat Salad's great, and then the transition into Fairware's Boots. One of those has Jack the Stripper attached to it, but it's undeniably classic. Everything on here is a banger. And you're really doing yourself a disservice if you haven't listened to it, honestly. And now something quite a different album, and I don't even know the title of it, but I don't want to take this out of its casing. So this is a unique little thing here. It's a very thin release here, but this is actually Norman Westberg's. I believe it's live from his bedroom. So it's called Bedroom Off, and you could see it like it's bed, and then see that O. You can see the O. My camera's not the best, but like, and then the OFF down there. So and it goes into OM on that bottom line there. This is one over hour long song, I guess you could say. It's like an ambient piece of guitar work by Norman Westberg. Norman Westberg is the guitarist of Swans for a long time. And Swans has a new album coming, but Norman Westberg isn't the guitarist this time, even though he's been the guitarist since like the 80s. I don't know what's going on there. Maybe they just came to an artistic disagreement and Norman just wants to keep doing his own stuff. But I bought this when I saw him live, and that was an amazing, amazing show. If you guys ever have the chance to see Norman Westberg live, and he's doing stuff with Swans. So really, what's not to love? Like, you've got two amazing, entrancing acts. Like, that's the only similarity between their stuff now, is that they are entrancing. Not that I've seen Swans live, I'd love to, but this is a really cool piece of media here. I love the packaging, even though it's so hard to see in my collection. And I have a bunch of CDs that I'll cover in a few videos from now that have that same problem, and they're all from the same company, but it's a great company, so I'm excited for that. But great little CD here. Even better to buy from Norman himself in person, who I think does his own touring. Like, he does all this stuff himself, and he has his own CDs. And I have a guitar pick with his face on it. That was from the same show. And basically, you should buy that one. And this next one, I have also seen this band live, albeit much less effective with age. This is Kansas's Left Overture. What do I gotta say except for Miracles Out of Nowhere is like a really awesome song. This album's definitely not a 10 out of 10. It's probably not even a 9, or maybe it might not even be an 8, because just so many of these synths sound really cheesy. But like, this album's just fun. Like, it's good, fun American progressive rock, and none of these songs drift into like the 10-minute territory, which a lot of bands do, and normally I'm fine with. Close to the Edge by Yes is my favorite album of all time, and that's got an 18-minute song on it. But here, it's you can kind of tell it'd be weird if they did that. But they do have Song for America off of Song for America, and that one's 10 minutes long, and that one's good. They did it live, and I liked it when they did that. But Left Overture, I love this album cover, though. This album cover is really sick. I love Mr. Man right here. He looks like his name's probably like Solomon or something crazy. And he's just writing sheet music because he's awesome like that. He's got a weird-looking face. But Left Overture. Next is High on Fire's Death Is This Communion. Oh, I thought it was going to be mirrored in the camera, but it's not. It's actually a perfect reflection. This is the side project of Matt Pike, guitarist of Sleep. Sleep is an amazing band. High on Fire, I don't love them yet. I bought this kind of on a whim. It's $5, so I was like, might as well give it a shot. Because this is one of the ways I will get into new music, is I'll buy a CD that looks trusted, and I'll listen to it, and then I'll like it. Like, I bought that new Dead Can Dance. Well, it's not a new record, but I bought a Dead Can Dance album, and it's new to me, and I liked it a whole bunch, and so that's when that happened very successfully. This, honestly, not as much. I think there's some good, like, it's kind of like stoner metal mixed with like thrash metal in a way, but and I think they both have really good riffs, but like, overall, it's not as good. And Matt Pike's vocals are kind of hit or miss here. I think sometimes he does it better. I think the clips live I've seen of him are better, but some people love this, and a lot of people do actually, and I think I just need to give it another listen. It is heavy stuff. It's actiony, very different from Sleep, but it does have that very round, thick, hazy guitar tone that you would know from Sleep, but you get a lot more of a more aggressive sound to Sleep. Like, you can just look at this album cover is sick though. It's some war dude with like his little slaves there that he takes to battle, and I mean that's cool enough. And the back looks just like Mastodon stuff with that. But this is a very Mastodon sounding release. And if we're talking about good metal, and I mean really good metal, Acid Bath's When the Kite String Pops. one of the best metal albums of all time. You could argue one of the best albums of all time. Really unique album here, as like this is when sludge and like grunge were like diverting, and like they were touching at points. Like, you know, you had Nirvana's Bleach, which was like really raw sounding, and you know, you got the Melvins, which were kind of grungy but just heavier, and you know, you got all these crazy bands doing that stuff. And then you've got good old fashioned southern sludge metal. Like you have Melvins, which was Washington or Seattle, I guess you could say, because I mean they're friends with Kurt Cobain or whatever. And then you've got bands like I Hate God and Acid Bath, and these bands just sound like they hate everybody, and you can tell what they're saying most of the time, because it's not really death growls on here. It's more like of an aggressive like bark that he's doing here, but he sings a lot too. The playing is really great. A lot of really cool stuff. I've stolen lyrics from The Blue for live shows when I'm like improvising lyrics, which was always so fun. All this stuff is great. Like literally what's not to love on here. Cheap Vodka is one of my favorites, but Finger Paintings of the Insane and Jezebel are huge hits. But Cheap Vodka is the song I just be playing whenever, because I love that hook, the turn off all the lights. I almost just barked it for you guys right there. But Acid Bath, oh yeah, and that is Mr. John Wayne Gacy on the album cover right there. No, I don't believe he painted this, but he did paint Iron Monkey's album cover, which is a sludge metal band also, which is, I think that's kind of interesting. And this one's cool. Abruptum's Evil Genius. It's really hard to see. Let's get that more in the light there. There we go. Evil Genius. This album is weird. It's really weird. Abruptum is known as being a very weird black metal band, and this is barely if black metal. Like, it's, I guess if you could call Ride for Revenge black metal in terms of like mentality. Like, this feels like dissonant black metal, or like it feels like, I don't know, think of like the most hateful black metal you can think of that isn't like NSBM with like all the melodic stuff, but just like dark, depraved, like I guess kind of like some like Tentacles of Horror by Leviathan. It's got like that same atmosphere, but the sound is very different. It's a lot of like death doom going on here, some black metal stuff, and eventually they become like industrial black metal and like black noise, which is very cool, but it's not what it is here. And this album's very unique. I need to listen to it again. It's really a tough one to crack. It's probably one I should have listened to on a very dedicated way before getting into it, but I bought it because I was like, Abruptum, I heard they're crazy, and they are crazy. That is a fact. But it's a cool one. And the last one we're covering today, I believe this is the only album of the genre that I own, and I would like to own a CD and a vinyl of pretty much every genre. I think that'd be very cool, except for stuff like Harsh Noise Wall, because what do you take me for? But this is my only anarcho-punk record, and I guess you'd call it hardcore punk as well. This is Subhumans, The Day the Country Died. I'm going to put my thumb over to the gaping head wound of Mr. Man right here. But as much as I'm not super into hardcore punk, this is some pretty catchy stuff. Very British sounding, but it's very down and dirty. It's like, it's not crust punk, but like it's got a bit of a crusty vibe to it. It's very honest. And it's super aggressive. A lot of songs here too. 16 songs. And it gives you the total playing time on the back. How about that? You know, most people don't do that. Ooh, they produced it themselves. That's fun. Steve Collinson engineered. I would have just, I mean, you can tell it's recorded well. 4-person band. One per instrument. It's pretty cool stuff, but really good anarcho punk here. I'm enjoying this a lot so far. Actually, no, I lied. This is not my only hardcore punk record. My other one is that Off record, which is the guy that was the original vocalist of Black Flag, and that one's really, really good. I love all the hooks on that one, but this one is a little less fast-paced, and it's a little more in your face in terms of subject matter. It's certainly a bit offensive at points, you know. I mean, like they're clearly trying to offend like the elite in Britain in the 90s, I believe, and I can respect that, because anything to take power away from the British. Am I right or am I right? It's good. I like it. I will check out more of their music at some point. But it's for now that's all the anarcho punk in my collection. But that's what I'll have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. What CDs do you guys have? What vinyl do you guys have? Apologies for calling it vinyls so many times. I know one person commented on that, but you know, it doesn't matter, which is the cool thing. But I do hope you guys enjoyed this. If you have anything you think I should buy because it's a good CD pressing, just tell me about it. I love talking about CDs in general. I mean, you know, this channel's for music. I love talking about audio formats. There's some stuff that I'll obviously never really get into, like reel to reel is I'm not going to get into, or like the giant laser discs. That's not happening either. Cassettes, maybe out of necessity someday, but like I think that's when I'm like, that's going to be years from now, honestly, because I put all the money into the vinyl. But that is about it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe. Comments, questions, and concerns down below. Social media in the description. My Discord page. We've been talking about this stuff. I just started a new series also here on YouTube, so if you guys want to watch that, I'd appreciate that. And if you subscribe, you'll see this stuff more often. And that's about it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Have had a good day, and have a good one. Bye.